think I'm getting some amnesia.
Amnesia?
Yeah. Okay.
What do you mean?
So, in the Pokemon GS, right? I'm still with the app on the GS. I didn't do the script or the index yet. I'm
What do you
getting,
mean script or the
you know how we have to have this,
No,
you know?
not today.
Oh, you said
It's
it's
all
only,
stress.
okay, fine.
So, no.
I'm trying to ignore saying stuff.
Alright, tell me what's up.
So I have the list of the Pokemon moves, right?
It's great.
But I'm working on so long trying to remember how to connect this this thing, or more likely like this stuff, to the next thing I have to make, which is
So, sorry, I would just send back ResNet data results. I would just do ResNet data on ResNet data results.
inside
That's
here?
all I'm asking.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be great. Oh, whoa. What? Very funny. Okay, cup hands once if you can hear my voice. Great, good clap. Okay, how do we do on the warm up? Yay, nay? Okay, let me get a little feedback here. Interesting. Okay, interesting. Let's kind of go through it together here. This was the warm up that I worked on the other day. Let's just start with a clean slate. Don't need any of this. Don't need any of this. Great. I'm just gonna close these. Our package JSON looks totally empty. Okay, and this was the terminal. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a few different files. Let's make an app.js file. So touch app.js. What's another file we might need? Sure. Pokemon.js. What else? Movies.js. Okay, looks good. I'm going to be making an Axios call. I know that. So I'm going to do that now. npm install -- save Axios. I'm going to go to a movie. Okay, here we go. So let's set it up. So we'll go to our app.js. How do I start this up? Jonathan?
You declare two variables. First, express.
Okay.
Require express.
All right, we'll require express. I like that. Hopefully we got this far. What's that?
That'll be express invoke.
Express invoke. Yeah. So this is what, this is called boilerplate code, right? This is code that is just really boring code. No thought, just rote memorization, essentially, of like just writing it every single time. Don't worry, you can eat that. And like, eventually we'll find a package that writes all this boilerplate code for us because, you're going to be a big developer, making lots of money, waste of time, right? Okay, what was next, Jonathan? Which one?
Port.
Oh, port? Okay, I like that. Let's make a port 3000.
then I did my app.listen.
App.listen takes in a port. And port. Great. Thank you. We happy with this? We've seen this kind of like this pattern where we write it over and over and over again. I have NodeMon installed, so I'm going to use that just to make it so I don't have to keep killing it and starting it again for you guys. So I'm just going to say NodeMon app.js, and let's see. Oh, didn't like that. It's this, you're saying?
Oh, yeah, like sports.
Ah, might be a good idea to close the parenthesis here. Brilliant. Brilliant. Let's see what happens.
$sign for the code.
Should use what?
$sign. $sign and credit flag.
Don't think that's our error. Let's read. Exactly. Let's read the error. Cannot find module express. Oh, what do we need to do about that? Yeah, I think so. npm install express dash save. So the most important thing, I know we jumped in because people yelled out, but the most important thing is for us to read that error. Always. The error is going to say what the error is, and it will help your debugging. All right, let's check it out. Let's go back. Listening to port. Great. Let's check out localhost. Port 3000. Cannot get nothing. Great. Okay. Let's knock this out one thing at a time. So we've got a little Express app, and it said we should have a slash that should say this is the home page. All right. How do I do that? What can I do to make it just say this is the home page? Yeah, Thomas? Yep. Okay. Sounds good. Right, short and sweet. Let's try it out. Great, that's more pleasant. Okay, what was the next thing on our list? Next thing on the list is Pokemon should give a list of all Pokemon. All right, that sounds pretty good. Let's do it. So we have to find out what our Pokemon API is, and I think we're not posted in the Slack, so I'm going to take advantage of that. Go over here, try it down here. Okay, right. This address gives us all the Pokemon. Thank you, Renat. And let's do it. So we'll go into our Pokemon page. And what do we need to do here? How do we start this? Okay. All right, what's next? Sorry? Sure, we can require Axios. Great. All right, let's do it. So let's say const router equals express dot router, right? Everything okay? We're happy? All right, let's try it. So we also are going to have to export, so might as well get that over with. Module export, and let's say router. All right, let's make a route. So I'm gonna just do router.get. Oh, you got a haircut too. Slash. So this is gonna be whenever I go to Pokemon and just plain slash. So I'm gonna leave it like this. And this is gonna have a request, a response. And I'm just going to do res.send all Pokemon. I want to make sure, I don't want to write too much code before checking, right? I don't want to go make this request and make sure everything, I want to be able to check as I go. So I'm going to go back to here. How do I link these up? Eric.
But first you have to.
So I exported here.
Oh, okay. Oh, my bad.
How do I get it in here? In my app?
Have to require the file.
Okay, sure. Let's require it. So I'm going to say const Pokemon equals require /Pokemon, right? Be more explicit. I don't think it matters. Okay, and then what do we need? Okay, is your hand still up?
No.
Okay. Eric? Yeah, so what's app.use do? Okay. Right, so app.use is a method we have available to us that we can pass functions in, and those functions will be called as like a middleware every single time we go to any path. And if we don't want it to just get fired for every path, we have to specify the path we want this fired on. So I can say /Pokemon, because I only want to go to the Pokemon functions when I go to Pokemon. And I'm going to say Pokemon. Okay? Let's test our work. We go here, we go /Pokemon. Do I have 2 slashes? All Pokemon. Okay, so everything's linked up. Nikki. Move up. I can also try to turn this up, but if it's really hard to hear, I don't know how loud I can get. Is this better? But definitely, I think there's a seat next to you, right? No, there's a seat.
Yeah. No, I thought you were asking us how
No, I know you can hear me, right? Yeah, definitely. I mean, like anyone who's in the back who can't hear, just crowd up. It's okay. Just move seats. You can crowd in. Definitely don't want to shout. Hopefully this is a little louder. I turn the mic up. Yeah, Trey? So, sort of. App.use is kind of flexible. We can pass middleware into app.use, and it will call that piece of middleware, that function, before every route. It's as in the middle, right? As soon as the route happens, we hit app.use. But if I want to specify which routes to use said middleware, I can add a path here as an argument. Okay, let's keep going. So we'll go back to Pokemon, and we can make an Axios call. We've done this before. We can say axios.get. Now, some of us did fancier things where we took them out. That's cool, totally fine. We're going to be moving in towards like where we'll be making specifically database queries. And so those won't be as count. So I'm just going to do this for now. And we take what Renat gave us, and I'll just chain. Right, this should return a promise. I'll say that then. Response. what kind of response do we get? An object, and where? So let's let's take a look. So if I'm pretending I'm doing this without having done it before, let's go. We'll fire this again. We see we've got all of these objects. Oops. Inside of some data, inside of results. So let's do it. Let's say res.json, response.data.results. Oops. Did not like it. Oh, no, it likes it. Okay, questions on that? Matea. I changed it then to it. Well, this just doesn't run until this occurs. This comes like until our this returns a promise, and as soon as that promise resolves, then the then happens with the response from that promise. Cool. Okay, so let's keep firing away. So we'll do another thing here. We can say router.get. What else do we need? We need to do an individual ID. Okay. So we'll say /ID. Right? And request response. Okay, and so how do we check if the ID is being passed in? What do I need to type to see the ID? Yeah, request.params.id. Let's try it. Go back here. /here. Cool. So we're getting whatever I just typed in. Looks good. And then I guess we should figure out how the Pokemon thing actually works. I'm going to guess that it just takes in some sort of ID. See what it does. Yeah, looks. Is this for an individual Pokemon? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Great. So if I want to mimic that behavior, I can do our Axios call here. Pass in the same thing. Right? Should work. If it doesn't, we'll interpolate, but I think that will work. And we say .then. Oops. Response. Let's call it resp. And let's log resp. See what happens. Clear our terminal. Didn't like it. Unhandled promise rejection warning error. Request failed the status code 404. Well, that's because this was totally a random number, right? I think we saw one work earlier. And it looks like we got stuff. So what do we need a slash after one?
Just when you play around with the clear web page,
I don't know. Seems to have given us some stuff back. Where is the data? The question.
How does the one, sorry, the Grams ID work?
Just added it.
Yeah, is there a better way to go about figuring out where your data is? So I got moving some of those data, right?
It's typical. I think it usually tends to give us back this data.
Is that normal?
With Axios, I think it always is data. Let's try from here. Here, the console. I think that's like the Axios does that. What? Did not like this either? Oh, thank you. Great, that looks like what I want to send up. So let's just return it up. Res.json response.data. Okay, great. So now we've got Pokemon routes and our app. We can move on to whatever comes next. Looks like we need movies and movie ID, Mateo. When?
2 seconds.
I think it was working. I think I had the wrong URL. I think I did like JFKKLOI or something. Okay, so we've got our Yeah, Johnny.
Can you go back to local and type in Charmander?
Can I type in Charmander? Sure. Cool. So, still works, right? Because it's a wild card in my thing. I'm calling it ID, and it's still just adding that. That's coming in as request.params.id no matter what anyone puts in there, and it's just adding that to the Axios request. So if it hits an API, it hits an API. Cool.
One more request. If you name, it's called Charmander. Let's see, just gives me Charmander.
Here,
Yes.
did you write? Did you have the same thing, right? Name : Charmander. I don't think that's allowed. That's not going to work. Okay. All right, let's get back to right, the API is the least interesting part of this, right? The whole point is just to see how we can create routing with Express, how we can separate our folders a little bit so that we can then move on to creating our own databases and doing something similar but with our own stuff.
So the question that I have is, can we go to the
We are in the Pokemon JS.
okay, no. So basically when you say router.get and then you have a slash there, right? Can it be any other symbol other than slash? In case you have data.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, the question mark would be part of the request query.
Okay.
Interesting question. Abid?
We handle errors.
In general, you mean? A problem. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna handle errors here inside of our app. I'm gonna add a route to handle errors at the end. There is middleware you can specifically write that takes in 4 arguments: error, request, responsive, next, or something like that. But for now, I don't want to get too into that. Oh, thank you. Got quieter. Okay, let's keep going. So let's go into our movies. What do we need to do? Who can start us off? Someone I haven't heard from yet. I'll give you guys a hint. It's essentially the same thing as last file. Yeah, Chris? Okay, that sounds good. Const express equals require express. Right? Next. Axios. Sounds good. Okay. Thanks, Nikki. Const Axios is equal to require Axios. What's next? I like the sound of that. Let's const router equals express dot router. Awesome. What do I like to do next? Thank you, Jen. Okay. Right, you don't have to do this next, but it's kind of nice to make sure you don't forget. Right? Okay, so we got to make a route. When do we want movies to fire? Yeah, Eric?
What did I get?
Yeah, sounds good. So we can do router.get. What's the route we're going to look for in this one? Slash, I like it. All right, this is going to be argument request, response. And let's just check that everything's linked up. All movies. Go to our app. How do we have access to the movie file? How can I do that? App.use, yeah, we're going to need that. Sure, we can start with that, I guess. App.use. Path, what's our path? Perfect. Movies, and we're going to fire what? Okay. Great. Sounds good. Thank you. Okay, and we'll say okay, so it's working. Okay, question. Do we need to see me write the all movies and the movie ID, or do we get it? Write it? Okay. I only ask because it's going to be identical. Okay. So we got to make our Axios call, right? So we're going to go axios.get. And I think we're not also opposed to this one. Yes. Thank you, we're not. Clutch. Okay. So we'll put this here, right? This is going to give us back some sort of response. And we can chain our promises with then. And so we'll say response. And we've worked with the Ghibli thing a lot. I'm going to take a guess and go res.json. response.data. And hopefully it's right. Let's check. Looks pretty good. Yeah, thanks. So. All right, so this is going to be an ID for Castle in the Sky. I'm going to copy this right now, just so I have it for our next task. It currently does that. Perfect. Okay. So what route do we need to make this time? Wildcard route? Yeah. Sounds good. Router.get /ID request response. And we can go Axios stack get. And it's going to be same link as before, right? Plus, how do I access that wildcard? Are we asleep? Are we confused? What's going on? No one's like, we're like very dull today, right? Perfect. Quest.params.id, and we can say that then, and this is going to give us back some sort of response, and let's return it. Res.json response.data. Let's take a guess. And let's refresh. Didn't like it. Interesting. Wonder why. Okay. On this page, we get an error. So apparently this isn't an ID. I don't know. What do we think? How can we get around this? Let's go to Ghibli and start looking into this. Saying it's not found. We have to use a for them. No, I don't think we do, but we'll see.
Was that
This, I don't know why we think we're doing a for each. We're just going to be returning one on the ID. Right? So this definitely works on the Ghibli API. So the question is why is it not working for us? Keen eye, right? Because we're going to continue on with our request. Excellent. Great. So then we get Castle in the Sky. That works. So let's iterate again. Like this was giving us a number, and then that was just concatenating with this string that was just films. And what we're really doing is a specific route to get that API. So it's actually supposed to be slash that number. And so without that slash, we were getting a bug. Nice catch. Very good eye. Must be a good driver with eyes that sharp. Okay. Did we fulfilled all of our requirements? Let's see. Right. Okay. So now it says access backend should render 404 not found. This is all expressed. No need to worry about that. Right. So we'll do this inside of our app folder. Down here, just gonna write app.get /star. So this will catch anything. And request response res.status 404 dot send not found. Oops. Great. Let's check our work. We'll just type in that. Great. And that's it. David.
How is that different than, like your status, status 404? You saying like why are you doing status? I get why you're doing status 404. It's like I never did status 404. Anything happens to be okay.
So I'm adding a status because this comes in as the header. So if I didn't do something like this and somebody made an Axios call to the wrong thing on front, like the client, and like with their Axios call, if it returns not found 404, it's a positive return. I can't tell the difference. But when it sees that my status is 404, the client's Axios call would see, it would hit the catch statement.
As long as you have a status 100, that just what happens.
It would say status 200, yeah. JR?
So it is theoretically possible to call somebody whether it is.
Yeah, well, by default it will be 200.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess you could troll your client. Muna? Oh, yeah, Muna. Sure, we could try doing something like that. All right. So we want to use middleware. Sounds fun. Let's create a function called const, and we'll say get all movies. And let's make this an async await function. And I will say let response goes await Axios.get. We can take all of these movies here. All right, and this is going to wait for that to come back. And then, oh, hang on, what's this say again? Request response index, right? My mistake. Okay, so then let's add those movies to our response. I guess we can go res.movies equals response. And then we'll call next. So inside of here, I won't be doing any of that. Inside of here, I'll just be sending back the JSON of res.movies. So I'll say res.json, res.movies. Looks clean. All right, let's get. Oh, I should pass it in. So I'll say I can pass it in here, right? I wanted to. It's just on a specific one here. We go here, go movies. Is it going to work for us or is it going to be upset? Didn't like it. Didn't like it. Do we know why? Why is that not working? Okay. Oh, maybe. Response.data.
Doesn't matter that like line 12 have res. Because we're using the same res for different responses.
They are using the same res. Right, this is a middleware. This should have access to the same things. I don't know how this will work because I made it an async function. So it might be kind of weird, but let's try it. It's not liking it. Okay, let's start debugging. Let's get rid of this. Let's do this slightly different. Say .then. Maybe this will work better. And it has to be tapped in. I have a backtick nature Axios. Okay. This is also what's going on here. There we go. Okay. Huh. Well, I don't know. It's up here. Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay. Now, just for fun. So it still works. The issue was the 2 slashes. That's a user error from my bad. Good eye. The Uber drivers with keen eyes today. This is great. Any but does that help clear that up for the middleware? Sure. For movies or for Pokemon? Okay. So we'll go to our movies. And, okay, so we could say like const. Let's do it again. So we'll say like, let's get a specific movie. Do async. If we're going to be making an Axios call, I'm going to keep it with async because it keeps it very clean. I could do the .then, but I'd rather not do nesting so I can avoid it. So this, what's our middleware take in? Okay, all together, count of 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah. We're getting there. Request, response, and next. Perfect. And then let's borrow this line here. And we'll say let response equal this line here. And let's just await to make sure I get this data before moving on. That's got this line here at the end for those of us Well, I might be able to make this bigger. For sure can. Yes, lucky for us. Okay, and then let's just add one movie. So let's go res.movie equal response.data, and then I'll call next. So let's get rid of all of this. Just do a res.json, res.movie. And we got to add the middleware. So I'm going to say get specific movie. Excellent. I'm going to copy this ID because I don't think I'm going to be able to remember it. Add that to up here. Paste it. And we get it. Right, so this is a way we can break them up. And if you broke them up into middlewares like that, that's cool. Yeah, I guess that's cool. I mean, there's an argument to be made on both ways, right? I mean, it really wasn't that crazy not using a middleware for this, just because each one was only around 3 lines. But if you are into it, you know, that's awesome. Any other questions on the warm-up? Spina.
I'm trying to remember, did you tell us to put our middleware or our functions from separate files to like import and export them, like modularize our code?
Yeah. For specific middlewares, you're saying? Yeah. Yeah, that would be fine. That's totally acceptable. I didn't for this just because.
But is it better to do that?
Yeah, I think I could see that being a better practice. So Express is not an opinionated library, right? What does that mean? It means that our Express apps can be built in like a lot of different formats and architectures. Why is this good? Well, it allows you to have a lot of flexibility. It allows you to set things up however you want, what makes sense to you and your team. Why is it a bad thing? Because you and I could be working on similar or different projects. I could be building something about Facebook. You could be building Amazon. And if we decide to swap projects, we might have no idea how to find anything in each other's project because Express is not opinionated. This is different from something like Ruby on Rails. Rails is a framework that's extremely opinionated. So every file has to be named exactly in a specific format. Every folder has to be named in a specific format. Everything has to be in a specific and exact place. So if you were building Amazon with Ruby on Rails and I was building Facebook with Amazon, with Ruby on Rails, we could switch projects and we would both know completely where every single thing is in each other's projects, like without even asking each other. I could find everything I need to know about your user models. You could find everything you need to know about my comments models, and comments controller, and everything. Express is very different. It's extremely not opinionated. So it's kind of hard to find exactly what's best practice. I do think separating middlewares out is a cool practice, but it's definitely not required because kind of anything goes within the Express world. Capiche? Yeah. Hey.
For your first get, like some using async here, async away, yeah, why that would not be the issue. Not like packaging. How do you know it's like?
Yeah, so that's a good question. You're saying if it's a large data, wouldn't it be an issue? Yeah, so the way our apps are going to be working is we're not going to be using like we're not going to be hitting some random API. We are the API. So what we'll be doing is SQLing, using SQL to query our database and give exactly that. And it's a very fast thing to do. And you kind of, I mean, if you need the data, you need the data. So you might, if you have to wait, it's just kind of as long as it takes, you know? Like if someone requests all movies, there's nothing I can, like I have to go get all the movies. So if it takes me 20 minutes, it takes me 20 minutes.
I meant to, you did away with the chunk part, you did away with the actual.
Oh, you're talking about the streaming of
Yeah, streaming part.
buffering and streams or something? That's a good question. I'm not sure how we can incorporate that within this. Mostly because our API is like, right now we're hitting someone else's. We can only get what they give us. You're talking about readable and writable streams, right? I don't know. That's a really good question. I don't know. Sorry. Yes. Any questions? Any questions on it? I'm just looking. Okay, so are we ready to take a little break from Express? I know we've been working on it for a week. Solid week. Are we looking forward to trying something else? Yes. All right, let's talk about databases. Okay, so can anyone tell me why we might need a database? Trey? To store information? Yeah. So what kind of information? What can we store with a database? We can store photos, yeah. Anything else? Passwords? I don't know if you can store passwords. It's pretty vulnerable. But yeah, something like some kind of tokenized password, maybe. Andre? Sorry? Yeah, probably. That's possible. Store data from a previous session. Absolutely. What else? Anything else that we might want to use a database for? Ava?
Basically anything the user might need to access.
Sure. Anything the user might need to access. Anything the site might need to access, right? I mean, it's just a big old tank of information, right? It's like that old person on the bus that just keeps talking to you. And you can ask them anything, and they know. They're like, oh, let me do a little query on that. So, yeah, languages, when you ask a database for information, it's called a query. Okay, you query a database. That's something you should know. Yeah, this is kind of talking about the relation, right? The front end, this is kind of the path. So the client's going to ask the server, like, hey, can you go get me all of my users? And then the server goes, yeah, I can do that. And then it turns around and it goes and asks the database, all right, give me all the users. And then it gets the users, and then it says, thank you very much. Goes to the client, and the client goes, oh, thanks, server. You know, database is doing it all. But the server's kind of the middleman. And so there's different types of databases. There are databases called NoSQL. There are databases that involve SQL, which is the ones that we're going to be focusing on. And we're specifically going to learn about relational databases. RDBMS. Trey. Okay, great. Takia and Trey. Excellent. Thank you very much. Right. So it says it right here. right? It's not. I'm not trying to be too coy about this. So the best way to like dive into databases is going to be to just practice, and we're going to do that soon. I'm just going to do a slight overview, but I don't want to go too deep because I think you'll just pick it up. So we have, let's say, this example of like a little data. This could be like a database, right? You have your rows, and each row is something. And then you have columns, and your columns is a specific entry within that database. Or am I doing that the other way around? I'm doing that the other way around. The columns are each like a concept, like this one: year, title, ID, director, actors, right? And then the rows are the specific entry. So it was what I had said just in flipped. So this is great. The ID is something that you're always going to have in a database. This is going to be called your primary key. Okay, it is always going to be there. We'll eventually learn how to like create our own, and you'll have to say that it's a primary key. And then there's also something called a foreign key. Now, a foreign key is a key that's inside of another, like someone else's primary key inside of a database. So what do I mean by that? First off, I want to just make a few things clear. When you're making a table, the table's name should be plural, always, okay? So it's a movies table, a users table, okay? Today's activity, when you go through SQL Zoo, they don't do a perfect job on that. I think they make it a little tougher than you need. But just know when you make your own, it should definitely be plural. So if we could pretend that there were two tables, and I can kind of like sketch one out here. Right, we'd have our movies table. And this would have an ID. It can have a title. It can have a year. Right, and we'll say 1, 2, 3, and I'll just use what they're doing here. So I'm going to say Pulp Fiction 94. Say Jackie Brown. It's out 1997. And then let's come up with a different one. Let's say Jaws. We know the year of Jaws. 79? Oh man, okay. It's like not even a hesitation. Whether or not it's right or wrong, I'm impressed by the speed and confidence. Okay, so we got our movies here, and we can make multiple databases that can relate to each other. This is like a database, right? So from here, I can say directors, and my directors will have an ID. Primary keys are always unique, just so you know. Cannot have the same primary key, right? Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown can't have the same ID. That would be insane. So they have to be different. So directors, we say ID, and we'll say name, and we'll say what's something else that might like age. Okay, and so we can say for number 1, we can say 1, and we can say Spielberg. I don't know how old Spielberg is. Say 200. Say for number 2 here, I'm going to say, who did all these ones? Thank you. Okay, I'm going to say Quentin, Harry. Do we know how old he is?
Tarantino.
Tarantino. I don't know him personally, so I don't care. Okay. He's you said he's 200? All right. I'll say he's 205. He's made a few more movies. Okay. So we've got like two tables here. Now, we can look and we can go, oh man, wouldn't it be nice if there was a way to connect these tables? Right? Like, what if I want to look up all the movies that Spielberg named singular, what's his first name? Steven. Right, what if I want to look at all the movies that Steve made? And I want to see all the movies that Quinn makes. Right? Okay. So we have to connect these tables somehow. Okay, so how do we connect? That's a great question. Right, we should be thinking about relationships. There's a one to many, there's a many to one, there's a many to many, there's a one to one. Probably means nothing to you yet, and it will eventually start to mean something. But what I mean by that is, how many directors are in a movie? How many directors per movie? One. Let's say one. Let's not look for the edge case right now. Right? And a director, how many movies can a director make? Many, right? Okay. So we have to start thinking about things like that. Because I could put the movie ID here, right? I could say like, what if I made a movie ID column? And I went, oh, okay, well, Stevie, he made Jaws. So I'm going to put 3 here. Well, he also made Jurassic Park and Minority Report, my favorite movie. So that's going to be kind of a messy table all of a sudden, right? Like we're going to be dealing with an array or something. So maybe that's not the best. Let's not do that. That's probably not the best idea. But maybe we could add a column to our movies because each movie only has one director. So we could say, so this is going to be what kind of key? Foreign key? I like that. Who said that so fast? There you go. It's like lightning McQueen there. Okay, we're going to say, right, director ID. We go, okay, Pulp Fiction. This is going to be ID of 2. Jackie Brown is an ID of 2. Jaws is ID of 2. Okay, so now we have a way to connect these. And you're going to learn about joins through SQL Zoo later today. But basically, you'll be able to connect things and be able to say, like, hey, join on movies.directorID, where it's the same as directors.id, and then it will give you back one table where they've been joined together. I'll be able to see that. Okay. Yeah, Johnny.
So we did the one-way traffic and go the other way around.
What do you mean by that?
We put the ID to the directors and movies. So now the directors have access to movies, not the other way.
No, both have access, right? Because if I did something where I was selecting movies where their director ID was something, I could look up that number, that into that. They will be able to connect. Best thing will be to play with them. Yeah, Christina?
You said movies under director ID and directors under movie ID, right?
I would not have a movie ID.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that, what you said about it. So,
Saying because there's a number that both of those share, they'll be able to.
how would you go the other way then? This is movies.
But you'll just join, you will be able to join tables. Yeah.
Is the director ID considered a foreign ID because
Foreign key,
yeah, I mean a foreign key?
because it's a director's primary key inside of another table. So it's like going to another country. Europe would be the foreign person. Basically, with anything dash ID, that's the foreign key. So there's a little challenge. A schema is a word you should know. Schema is what all of your databases look like, right? So I'll show you an example of one of mine. If I go to my GitHub/help, this was my full stack application that I made. And I can go to my database here, and I can look at my schema, and it comes across looking like, well, this is how it's actually making the tables. It's saying the create table business. But if I go to wiki, you can kind of see a visualization. That'll be better. If I go to schema, you can see, okay, here, this was, I wanted to have a users table. I said what kind of data type each thing's going to be. So column name, ID, first name, last name, these are strings. These are the details. Null means whether or not it's allowed to be empty or not. I'm saying if there's a user, they have to have a first and last name. Sorry, share, but it's just not going to work. All of these are, and then business, right? Like a business table, they have a name, address, phone number, start times, reviews, right? So a review is kind of an interesting thing, right? Because a review is made on a business, and a review is written by a user. So businesses, they have many reviews. Users can have many reviews, and a review belongs to a business, and a review belongs to a user, right? So that's kind of a one-to-many kind of relationship. So it makes sense to put the foreign key of user and business ID onto our reviews table, because then I can look up I could eventually look at all reviews where the business ID is equal to something, or I could say all of the reviews that were written by such and such user. These are types of queries we'll be able to make to our database.
You wrote this
Yeah.
even before you started.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go more into that when you're building out a big project, but I planned everything out before my projects, like wireframes of how exactly I want it to look, a schema, the state of the application. I mean, all of this stuff, it's a little off track though for right now, but the most important thing I just want to talk about today is the schema. Right, the more you plan, the less you have to, the more you get to just focus on coding and you don't have to figure out what you're trying to do. Yes?
Schema, database structure,
Yeah, it's the tables and how they're going to relate to each other. So it's definitely something you'll want to be planning out. And so I'm going to go over a little bit how to interact with databases, but most of this, again, you will be doing with SQL Zoo and SQL Bolt. It's really the best way to learn. It's like, otherwise you'll see, you'll get it by the end of the day. This is SQL. SQL is an acronym for what, Trey? Okay, Takia? Perfect. Structured query language. Looks a lot like English, right? What do we think this is doing? Can anybody take a guess? Nikki?
You're selecting all from
Okay,
and specifically
exactly. So what do you think you're going to get back? Sure. So all of Tarantino's movies. Yeah, exactly. Right? So some of these queries, as you'll learn throughout today, will be more difficult than others. But it's important to keep trying to relate them to English and stuff. And right, did you already know SQL, by the way, Nikki? Okay, so see, Nikki didn't know SQL, and she was already able to like tell what's going on here. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty nice language. SQL is a different language, so it's saying, hey, star, which was we've already kind of used as like a catch-all before, and it also in SQL, it's also a catch-all saying, hey, give me all of the columns. Because I can specify columns up here. Instead of writing star, I could have done select movies.title. If I'm dealing with only one table, I can just write title because it knows it's movies. But I get to select title slash, or not slash, comma year. And I would only get those back. But instead I'm saying I want all of it, right? I want the ID, I want the title, the year, director ID. It's going to show me all of these things that I'm saying from this is the table. I say I want this from the movies table. And then I can specify where. If I just had this line, I would get all movies, everything about all movies. And then this one goes, narrows it down. It goes where our director ID is the number 32. Sounds good. Johnny?
So how do you put this in like 1,500 folder we make for our projects? You make like a
We're not going to worry about that yet. We're just going to focus on SQL. That's a good question. Johnny's saying, how are we going to include this in our app? We will. That's not yet. But we'll be using something called PG Promise. Lumina. Good question. Excellent. Very cool question. So she's saying, what do we get back from this? Well, today when we do this, we're just going to be able to see a visual. It's going to like give us back a table, which will be a visual representation of the query response. I believe when we're getting into like our code, that we'll be getting it back as JSON. Or if not, we'll be turning it into that. Don't perfectly remember at the moment. Mateo?
So you're saying Express was where is SQL also being unopinionated?
SQL's pretty opinionated. Yeah, I don't know if they really like call it opinionated or not opinionated. It's not a framework, which is kind of what they're talking about when they say opinionated or unopinionated. But SQL is definitely like syntax city, all right? Like, actually, this is going to throw an error because whoever wrote this didn't put a semicolon at the end.
Like why SQL besides the name?
Besides structured query language,
Besides structured query language.
it is a language that queries databases and will give us back information.
how's it different from like Excel?
How is it different from Excel? Is that a language? Or,
How do you manage that Microsoft Word?
yeah, it will look a lot like Excel. Excel might use SQL in the back. I'm not that fluent with Excel. I don't know if I'm the right person to ask on that. I've never had to use Excel. Johnny?
Is SQL able to manipulate data, add data, create keys?
That's a great question. So he asks if we're going to be able to, if SQL can update, delete, create data. Yeah. So that's like the whole point and what we're going to be using it for eventually. We're going to be using it to retrieve data, which is a GET request. We're going to be, remember all those like response, that like when we made that email and name and then we sent that back as a post body and stuff, right? If that was like something to create a new user, there will be a point, which not yet today, although this is great, where we'll be able to add to this specific table that specific information to create a new user. And that's, we're going to be able to update, delete, and create. That's all going to be with SQL. Yeah.
So we're gonna be using like SQL as
Yeah, so what's it going to look like eventually? It's going to look a little bit like, I think I called it puppies. Right, we're going to have these types of functions where we have these request, response, and next, right? Look familiar, kind of like a middleware. And then we're doing something that we don't quite know yet, but we're saying like hit.none, and we're update pups. Pups sounds like a table maybe. Set name equal to request by the name, right? This is starting to see it. Maybe we can find like get all puppies, right? When I'm saying, hey, select star from pups. Interesting. Then data, JSON, data. Right? I don't want to get too into it because we're not here yet. But hopefully we can kind of see, like, there's a function here, looks a lot like a middleware, that looks like it goes and grabs data with SQL and returns JSON. That looks kind of interesting, right? And maybe we have a route that says get API puppies and calls a function to get the puppies. Pretty interesting. Don't want to dive in yet, gotta learn SQL, but we can see that there is going to be a use. We will make it. Yeah, Matteo. Yeah, SQL's fast. I can't tell you exactly how fast, but it's fast. So abstracted away from our example earlier, right? We can have like the select, and we can say what columns we want to select from which table, where, at these specific conditions. You can say, director ID equal to 32, and you can use the word literally and say something else. Like I said, teaching SQL is one thing. Practicing SQL is really where it's at. Yeah, Nili?
So, CSS, JavaScript, is just SQL like one of those things, or is the database or it's associated frameworks? This is one of the associated frameworks.
No, SQL is its own language.
So that it's SQL.
We're learning it today. Yeah. Yep, your languages after this should be HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and SQL. I'd say they are. I think there's an argument to be made that they are. What are they then? Well, whoever said that just has a different opinion than me. Please.
Can I ask about JavaScript being part of the front end and the back end? Is that something that's true?
Yeah. Well, our Express has been in JavaScript, and our front end has all been in JavaScript. So it's essentially what it should look in your imagination pretty similar to what we've been doing. Our front end stuff will be different. We won't be doing direct DOM manipulation, but we will be still just writing in JavaScript. Johnny?
I have a question. When you create the databases, when you look in the console, terminal, would it throw like lines, like table for you, or is it like a giant object?
We won't be doing that in the console. We won't exactly. We're eventually going to be using Postgres. Do you remember that? Remember downloading that on day one? Looks like a little elephant at the top of your screen. That's so we can create databases. And that's going to be where we'll be having our database until we decide to eventually have the whole database hosted somewhere else, like Amazon, AWS, or something. Okay, that's it. I don't really have much of a lecture. I really want us to dive in. So what you'll be doing today is you'll be going through SQL Zoo. Looks like this. Just read it. Go through all of the exercises. Keep going. If you finish with that, you will do SQL Bolt. And go through that. I don't know. Maybe we should work in pairs. Yeah. So just I'll let you pair with your choice today, but just pair off and work through SQL Zoo and then SQL Bolt together. Okay. This is like the rest of the day, but really make sure you capitalize on it. I expect us to really know all this stuff tomorrow.